Hey guys, it's Crowler Ren once again. In this video, I've watched the first two episodes of The Mandalorian Season 2, and I just want to sort of just talk about how I'm feeling and how it's going. I think I'm going to do like a sort of, not going to be a review of sorts, just stuff that I've noticed. And if you guys have noticed more stuff as well, like Easter eggs or whatnot, I'm gonna be less about Easter eggs and more on just like what certain things mean for the rest of the series and how it might progress. I just want to say though, like overall, I think the first two episodes were really good. Actually, what I like most about the Mandalorian TV series actually is that the filler episodes are very enjoyable. Like they almost seem like they're not filler, and obviously with season one the filler episodes meant something by the end, right? So it's very nice now that you know that sort of blueprint that they're going to take, that they might not go that same route the way they did it in season one, but I mean based off season one, it's like for instance that second episode, it's with the spiders and stuff, it's so cool. The whole episode in general, like the frog lady, what Yoda does as well, but we'll get to that as well. But yeah, just the frog character was likable and speaking in frog, like even so, just things like that really impresses me basically, because I don't feel, oh, why did they do this episode? Like they could have just got to the point or whatnot. Like it feels really really nice to me. And then like even in like the first episode, right, just the interactions with the Tusken Raiders I thought was just chef's kiss, like brilliant. You've got to think, right, the only interactions we've ever seen with Tusken Raiders are usually they are aggroed, like they are highly aggro, like an aggro-y. Wait, that works. Yeah, they're aggro-y. They're yeah, like they get aggroed really really easily. And they will usually attack anyone who they think is a trespasser, or even like pod racers and stuff like that, right? they'll attack them on bloody whilst they're racing. Now, like I'm kind of figuring, like, is that pod racing? Like, are they paid to do that, or do they just do that off their own backs? Does that even get mentioned? I don't think it does. I think Anakin mentioned something about the Tusken Raiders, doesn't he? I would have to check that out, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it would be funny if they were getting paid for that, but yeah, like you only see them in like an aggressive state. So for the Mandalorian to come, Jin, and for him to come and then be able to converse with them and obviously be on friendly terms with them, which makes me believe that Mandalorians and Tusken Raiders are friendly. They're on a friendly sort of relationship, and yeah, just to see that side of the Tusken Raiders was really really cool and really really unexpected for me. I really really enjoyed that. It builds to the lore of the world, and it gives you even more questions. Like as I said, like maybe the Mandalorians and the Tusken Raiders have a healthy relationship, but then you think like, why do they? Like, did they fight with for each other or whatnot? So yeah, that's very interesting. Maybe they will expand on that further later. I would definitely like a Tusken Raider to join Jin on one of his adventures, or on a mission somewhere. Just a solo Tusken Raider that was able to speak English. That would be pretty cool to see. So yeah, like I am really enjoying The Mandalorian so far. But let's just talk now about stuff that I'm interested to see where they take it. And obviously the first one, I'm definitely going to start with Boba Fett, right? We saw Boba Fett. We saw Boba Fett, guys. But I'll say now, the actor playing him is the actor that played Jango Fett in the prequel trilogies, in the prequel trilogy movies, should I say. So yeah, you've got the same guy. You got Django, the same guy who plays Django. That is Bob. That shows up. So I've heard stuff like he could be a clone. So he could be another clone of Django. But the only reason why that doesn't make sense is that the clones they have a accelerated aging, right? I mean, you could have they could have got that clone recently. Like, it could have been cloned in the last 5 years, I guess, or something like that. But we do know, but by the time Force Awakens rolls down, the stormtroopers are disbanded, discontinued even. Even in Star Wars Rebels, which I'll get to in a bit. In Star Wars Rebels, the stormtroopers have also been disbanded by that point as well. And so by the point of The Mandalorian, which is after the events of the original trilogy, the accelerated aging of the stormtroopers would have taken effect, right? By looking at this Jango, he doesn't seem massively aged. So I seriously think it could go either way, basically. It could definitely go either way. I'm hoping for Boba, since his armor showed up, and like obviously a clone of Jango has shown up as well in the same episode that Jin actually gets Boba Fett's armor in the first place, right? So I am very interested to see what happens. It looks like Boba, or the clone of Jango, let's just call him for now, is hunting the Mandalorian. It looks like he is following him, so we'll definitely be seeing him some point soon, for sure. Another thing in the first episode that I was really interested in is the graffiti. Again, obviously this will have some Rebels information, right? So basically, there is one character in the Star Wars universe who heavily does graffiti. Heavily. And she's in Star Wars Rebels, and she's called Sabine Wren. And funnily enough, guys, she's a Mandalorian. So she is like one of the main characters in Star Wars Rebels, and funnily enough, she actually got the Darksaber and gave it to its sort of the next leader of Mandalore in the storyline, in one of the storylines in Star Wars Rebels. She anointed the Mandalore by giving them the Darksaber, who is a character called Bo-Katan. Bo-Katan is actually rumored to be in this series of The Mandalorian. We've already seen the Darksaber in The Mandalorian as well, funnily enough. It does look like there's going to be some Rebel characters, Star Wars Rebels characters here. Sabine Wren, yeah, I mean, I'll put it up on the screen for you guys, but she does do a lot of graffiti in the Rebels TV series, and some of the graffiti does look slightly similar in some places. Obviously, none of them are identical from what I've seen so far, from what I've looked at, but they do seem similar. And yeah, I mean, she would have had more time, basically. Like, she would have lived more years by this time, right? So I am really intrigued to see if this, because they sort of made the graffiti prominent, right? You had multiple scenes with the graffiti, and you had even like the child like stare down the graffiti, like, oh god, this stuff. So I'm thinking that it's Sabine. Opens up a load of worms, right? Because obviously, how did what's his name, the villain at the end of the season 1, get the Darksaber, right? How did he obtain the Darksaber? Where's Bo-Katan? Where are like the likes of Sabine now? So, because Sabine was the one that gave Bo-Katan that Darksaber in the first place. I'm interested. I think it's either just graffiti to show that there's still sort of like disorder in Outer Rim colonies, just to show that even though the Empire sort of crumbled, right, they're still like, it doesn't mean everything is cool, or that the Republic have like got everything in check or anything like that. I do just want to say, Baby Yoda's eating habits are strange, right? Oh, because obviously you get in the second episode, he starts eating frog spawn, right? That sort of tells you something about his race, right? So his race are not afraid of eating spawn, right? Which is a reptile or toad or frog's sort of children. Like, that's her babies, man. And he was just munching them like they were burgers, like whole as well. So yeah, that gives you like a little tidbit insight into what Yoda species eats. It's obviously still interesting that Yoda's species isn't listed in the data bank the last time I checked. So that just gives you maybe they like reptilian / toad food produce or something. I have seen a lot of talk about maybe Ezra returning, and I just want to put it out there. I actually think there's a possibility he returns, right? But I mean, the logistics of it was that he on a ship. He told the space whales in. So sorry. Before I just get into that, Ezra Bridger is also from Star Wars Rebels. There's a lot of Rebels characters rumored or hinted to be in there. Ahsoka, who is rumored to be in this, is also heavily in Rebels as well. But back to Ezra. So he gets space whales, these space whales that can go into lightspeed, to lightspeed a ship with him and a character called Grand Admiral Thrawn, should I say. This ship is busted, it's got busted through windows and stuff like that, right? And they go lightspeed in space. I don't think you survived that. I do not think you survived that one bit. But the one thing I'll say on it is that Leia was Mary Poppins in The Last Jedi. So, I mean, there is canon force tech that saves you from the vacuum of space. And that's the last thing I'm going to say on that right now. The last thing I wanted to just have a brief mention on is that there's a lot of talk about whether Mandalorian is a sequel to Rebels, like a direct sequel to Rebels, and I think this season will tell you. Basically, this season will tell you. If Sabine does end up coming, then it's likely that Bo-Katan will come and Hera. If Ahsoka does come, which she's rumored to come, then it's likely that Hera is probably going to be around somewhere. Sabine is probably going to be around somewhere, and probably Bo-Katan as well. Like, basically, the reason why Bo-Katan is probably going to be in this is because the Darksaber is in this, and Bo-Katan had it in Star Wars Rebels when it ended, right? So either she's dead and we will find out some info about her, or she's not dead and she will come into the show. I think that's probably a given. But then, yeah, like as I said, like when you get some of these characters, certain characters of Rebels, if they appear, then other characters are like dead on appearing. People like Hera and the Ghost, it's already appeared in the Rise of Skywalker and Rogue One, for instance. And then you I mean, they're hinted at heavily. The Star Wars Rebels team, they got a lot of hints to them. I think I don't want the Mandalorian to be a direct sequel to Rebels. I want Rebels to get its own direct sequel, preferably with Thrawn and Ezra. But and then you can have, like other things, other sort of story related elements to go with. I'm not going to spoil everything. I mean, I spoiled most of it, but I'm not going to spoil everything for you guys. I highly recommend you guys just go and watch Star Wars Rebels. It's really, really good and it's really enjoyable. And I implore you to watch The Mandalorian right now. The Mandalorian is so good. I really enjoy every second of it, especially that rocket when he's like, oh yeah, I'll give you the jetpack, it's fine, and then he walks off and he's like just sends him to the air, and they actually show him dropping down as well, which is pretty funny. But yeah, that's it from me. Thanks a lot, guys. Been Kongru, and I'll see you next video. Peace.